SLT Fiber and experience the power of fiber technology. Sri Lanka's only super fast internet connection. SLT Fiber. Call 1212 now.
Tonight, piling on the losses. Committee on Public Enterprises probes financial irregularities of Sri Lankan Airlines. Says A350 Airbus agreement cost the government over 17 billion rupees. Troubled waters as Lieutenant General Shavindra Silva assumes duties as new army commander. US State Department warns impact on military and investment cooperation. Amendments. Cabinet approval granted to amend Muslim Marriage and Divorce Act. Joining forces. The alliance of the joint opposition to be announced next month. All these stories and much more coming our way on First at 9 this Wednesday, the 21st of August 2019.
Nava Lifebuoy Cool Fresh සහ Lemon Fresh Menthol සහ Lemon සාරයෙන් දහදිය ගඳ ඇති කරන සැඟවුණු විස බීජ වලින් ආරක්ෂා කර ඔබව fresh කරයි. විස බීජ off, fresh එක on.
From AdaDerana, this is AdaDerana First at 9. Live from Studio 24 in Colombo.
A very good evening to you and welcome to First at 9 on AdaDerana 24, Sri Lanka's news channel. I'm Katharina Chang. On your top story tonight, Lieutenant General Shavindra Silva assumed duties as the 23rd Commander of Sri Lanka Army at the Army headquarters today. Being the first commander of the Army produced by the Gajabar Regiment, a guard turnout presented by the regiment troops greeted the new commander. He was warmly received by the commanding officer of the headquarters battalion and center commandment of the Gajabar Regiment. Later, Adjutant General Major General Jayanta Senaviratna warmly greeted the new commander as he arrived at the parade ground and requested him to take the salute of the guard of honor by troops of Gajabar Regiment. During his 35-year-long illustrious military career, Army Commander Shavindra Silva held a number of staff, instructional command and diplomatic appointments in various capacities. Meanwhile, a senior US State Department official has warned that Lieutenant General Shavindra Silva's appointment as the new army commander could affect US military cooperation and investment in Sri Lanka. The latest development comes as the new appointment by President Maithripala Sirisena has come under severe criticism by foreign nations and international agencies, including the United Nations.
A senior official of the US State Department had spoken to reporters on Lieutenant General Shavindra Silva's appointment as the 23rd Commander of the Sri Lanka Army, saying it comes in a highly charged political environment in which some political factions in Sri Lanka feel there is much to be gained by what he described as playing the nationalist card. He went on to say, quote, "It is unfortunate that this card is being played through the promotion of a general about whom vivid and well-documented human rights violations are on the record. We are deeply troubled," unquote. Reuters reported that the US official had also warned of lasting implications on the reconciliation process owing to the new appointment. Speaking further, he had said that there will also be limitations to support on the military relationship with Sri Lanka, highlighting criticism against the army chief while warning of possible impact to foreign investment in the island. The official had suggested Silva's new role could affect a $480 million grant through the US Millennium Challenge Corporation aimed at modernizing Sri Lanka's urban transport system and infrastructure. Asked whether Silva's promotion could affect the MCC investment, the official said, quote, "It will be one factor that will be looked at," unquote.
The report presented to Parliament by the Committee on Public Enterprises on Sri Lankan Airlines points out that a direct loss of 17,058 million rupees was incurred when the current government cancelled an agreement to buy 4 A350 Airbuses signed by the previous government. Meanwhile, the current financial situation of Sri Lankan Airlines was probed during court hearings yesterday, with proceedings also opened for media for the first time.
බිලියන 102ක් තියෙනවා රුපියල් බිලියන රජයේ බැංකු දෙකට සහ තෙල් සංස්ථාව. ඊට අමතරව රජයේ කොහෙටද වෙන ණය තියෙන බුදුමලගේ?
දැන් CPC එකට අවුරුද්දකට ගෙවන්න ඕනේ ඩොලර් මිලියන 140ක්. මට ගෙවන්න පුළුවන් ඇත්තටම $50 million විතර තමයි කරගෙන යන්න බැරි ලොකු ප්‍රශ්නයක් තියෙනවා. අර 2013 ගත්තේ වට ගෙවන ලීස් රෙන්ට්. මොකද ඒ ගුවන් යාන 7ක් තියෙනවා. ඒක හරි අමාරුයි. ඒවා කඩන් $80 to $20 million විතර ගෙවනවා ඒකට. දැන් ඒ ගත්ත එයාක්‍රාෆ්ට් එක ඒ දවස්වල මාකට් ප්‍රයිසස් බැලුවාම $90 to $95 million. ඉතින් ඒකේ තියෙනවා 15%ක 20ක ෆැක්ටර් එකක් ලීස් රෙන්ට් එකේ අපි ගෙවනවා මේ මාකට් එකට වැඩිය. ඔයගේ ගොඩාක් පාඩුවට හේතු තියෙනවා.
මේ කරුණු දෙක අත්‍යවශ්‍ය කාරණයක්. එකක් තමයි කවුරු හරි කෙනෙක් මෙම ණය ප්‍රමාණය දැරිය යුතු. දෙවෙනි කාරණේ තමයි මේ ණය ප්‍රමාණය දැරුවත් මෙම ආයතනය පවත්වාගෙන යන්න කිසියම් ආයෝජකෙක් මේකට අවශ්‍යයි. මේගොල්ලෝ මේ දරන ඩොලර් මිලියන 900කට වගේ ආසන්න ප්‍රමාණයක් වන ණය ප්‍රමාණය රජය ගන්න ඕනද නැත්නම් කොපමණ ප්‍රමාණයක් ගන්නවද කියන පිළිබඳ රජයේ තීරණයක් නැහැ සර්. අත් වශයෙන් මුදල් අමාත්‍යාංශයෙන් පැත්තෙන් කියන්න පුළුවන් අපිට බාර ගන්න බෑ කියලා.
අපි චීන ඩිවෙලොප්මන්ට් බැංකුවත් සමග සාකච්ඡා කරගෙන යනවා රීෆිනෑන්සින් ක්‍රමයකට මේ ණය බාරයේ අවම වශයෙන් 3/2ක විතර සහනයක් ලබා දීලා මේක ශ්‍රී ලංකා එයාර්ලයින් ආයතනයෙන් අයින් කොට අනාගතේ නවීකරණය කිරීමට ඩොලර් මිලියන 250ක විතර පමණ ප්‍රාග්ධනයක් අවශ්‍යයි.
$1 billion ටර්නෝවර් එකක් තියෙන කම්පැනියක් අවුරුදු 3ක් ඇතුළත ලාභ ලබන්න පුළුවන් කියලා බිස්නස් ප්ලෑන් එකක් තියෙද්දි එහෙම සුළු ගානකට දෙන එක සාධාරණද කියලා හරි තීරණයක් රජය සහ පාර්ලිමේන්තුව විසින් ගනී කියලා අපි බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා.
2019 පෙබරවාරි වෙනකොට මිලියන 123ක් තියෙනවා. රජයේ ආයතන වලින් ලැබෙන්න තියෙන. ඒ යටතේ ජනාධිපති ලේකම් කාර්යාලයෙන් මිලියන 114ක් තියෙනවා. මේ මිලියන 114 කියන්නේ මම හිතන්නේ බොහෝ දාට පහුගිය කාලේ ටිකට් ගන්න නැතුව ගුවන් නිගමන වලින් ගියපු ජනාධිපති ලේකම් කාර්යාලේ කට්ටියකින්.
නීතිමය කටයුතු කරනවා.
මේ රටේ ජනතාවට හරි මේ පේන්න නිසා මම කියන්නේ නීතිමය කටයුතු ගන්න කියලා අපි නිර්දේශ කරා. ජනාධිපති ලේකම්ට නඩු දාන්න.
The Committee on Public Enterprises today represented its report to Parliament regarding the termination of purchase agreement of 8 A350-900 aircraft in 2013 and 2014 by Sri Lankan Airlines. The report was submitted by COPE Chairman Parliamentarian Sunil Handunetti. Meanwhile, Parliamentarian Sunil Handunetti and Mahinda Amravira requested a date for a debate on the matter, which was agreed to by Leader of the House, Minister Lakshman Kiriyalla.
2015 ඉඳලා මේ ආණ්ඩුව යටතේ රුපියල් මිලියන 12000 ඉඳලා රුපියල් මිලියන 40000ක් දක්වා මේ අලාභය වැඩිවීමේ ප්‍රවණතාවයක් තමයි මේක දකින්නේ. දැන් ඔබතුමාලා මේ සංචාරකයන්ට සහන දෙන්න කියලා ගෙනාපු වැඩපිළිවෙල තුල තවත් ඩොලර් මිලියන 5ක අලාභයක් මේ ආයතන දැන් සිද්ධ වෙලා. මේකේ තියෙන ප්‍රධාන ප්‍රශ්නේ තමයි මේකට අවශ්‍ය කරන කැබිනට් පත්‍රිකාව දාන්නේ අගමැතිතුමාගේ අමාත්‍යාංශය. එතකොට මේ අමාත්‍යාංශයෙන් දාන එක එවනවා ආපහු මේකට කැමැත්ත අකමැත්ත කියලා ශ්‍රී ලංකන් ගුවන් සේවයේ අධ්‍යක්ෂ මණ්ඩලයට මේක අනුමත කරන්න එපාද කියලා.
ඒ කිපු කරුණු හරි ප්‍රහාරයට පස්සේ සංචාරකයන් මේ රටට ගේන්න ඕනේ එක තමයි මූලික කරුණ. ඒ ආමාත්‍යාංශ වලින් ඒ තීරණ අරගෙන තියෙන්නේ මං හිතන්නේ මූලික ප්‍රශ්නේ විසඳන්න. මූලික ප්‍රශ්නයක් විසඳනකොට සහන දෙනකොට වෙන කවුරු හරි ඒකට ගෙවන්න සිදු වෙනවා. මෙතනින් ශ්‍රී ලංකා ගුවන් සේවාවේ ආදායම ඔබතුමා කිව්වා වගේ එස්ටිමේට් කළොත් දල වශයෙන් ඩොලර් මිලියන 5ක් විතර අඩු වෙනවා. මෙතන මූලික ගැටලුව ඇවිල්ලා රජයේ විවසාය ස්ටේට් ඕන් එන්ටර්ප්‍රයිසස් වල හුඟක් වෙලාවට අපි සුදුසු මිනිස්සු පත් නොකරන එක. එතන ඒ මූලික ප්‍රශ්නයට අපි විසඳුමක් දෙන්න ඕනේ. මේ ආයතනය මගේ භාරයට ආවට පස්සේ මම අධ්‍යක්ෂක මණ්ඩලයේ වෙනස් වීමක් කරලා නැහැ. දැන් කරන්න බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා.
General Secretary of the United National Party Minister Viraj Karyawasan warns of stern disciplinary action against members who express contradictory views to the official party decisions. Meanwhile, a special discussion between UMP parliamentary members was held in Colombo yesterday. Special meeting got underway last evening in Colombo between Deputy Leader of the UMP Minister Sajid Premadas and parliamentary representatives of the party. Following the discussion, several representatives of the party expressed these views to media.
ගෝඨාභය රාජපක්ෂ මහතාත් ඉන්නවා කරලියේ.
අයියෝ ගෝඨාභය කියන්නේ ප්‍රශ්නයක් නෙමෙයි.
සජිත් ප්‍රේමදාස මහතාට තැනක් තියෙනවද?
අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම තියෙනවා.
ගෝඨාභය රාජපක්ෂ පරද්දන්න පුළුවන් අපේක්ෂකයා කවුද කියන එක පිළිබඳව තමයි අපි සාකච්ඡා කරේ. ගෝඨාභය රාජපක්ෂ කියන්නේ අභියෝගයක් තමයි.
අපි දිනයක් නියම කරනවා සන්දානය හදන්නයි ගිවිසුම අත්සන් කරන්නයි. බොහෝ විට එදාටම අපේ අපේක්ෂකයාව රටට හඳුන්වා දෙන්න.
Meanwhile, General Secretary of the UMP Minister Viraj Karyawasan warned against members who make contradictory views which are not in line with the party's decisions.
කීප දෙනෙක්ගේ ප්‍රශ්නයක් තියෙනවා. අපි ඒක ගන්න ඕනේ පියවර ගන්නම් වෙලාවට. ජයග්‍රහණය කරන්න අවශ්‍ය තීන්දුව තියෙන ටික ගන්නවා. ඒක ගන්න එකමුතු කර ආරක්ෂා වෙන ආකාරයට. ඒ වගේම ඒකට කවුරුවත් තවදුරටත් ඒකට මේ බාධා කරනවා නම් අපි තදින් පියවර අරගෙන ඒ සම්බන්ධයෙන් ක්‍රියා කරනවා.
UPFA parliamentarian Udaya Gamampill reveals that the alliance of the joint opposition will be announced next month. He said this speaking to media following the first party leaders meeting attended by their presidential candidate Gotabaya Rajapaksa last night.
A discussion was held last night between the presidential candidate of Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna Gotabaya Rajapaksa and the party leaders of the joint opposition at the official residence of opposition leader Mahinda Rajapaksa. This was the first party leaders meeting attended by Gotabaya Rajapaksa.
අපේ මැතිවරණ වැඩසටහන උපාය මාර්ග යනාදී තමයි අද අපි සාකච්ඡා කරේ. මේ සන්දානය හැදීම ගැන මොකද සාකච්ඡා? සන්දානය අනිවාර්යෙන් වෙනවා. මහා දැවැන්ත උළලක් මැද ඒ සන්දානය එළි දක්වනවා.
In the meantime, addressing a media briefing held at the opposition leader's office, UPFA parliamentarian Susil Premajayantha alleged that Minister Sajith Premadasa is misusing the funds of the Central Cultural Fund for political purposes.
Unfortunately, after introducing the 2017 amended act of provincial council elections, as a result of that, now we are not in a position to hold Provincial Council Elections Act under the new law of 2017 or under old law of 1988. So now this has been referred to the Supreme Court for the opinion of the Supreme Court. It is the duty of the legislature to introduce proper amendments to Provincial Council Acts or introducing new law in order to hold Provincial Council elections. Supreme Court can send their opinion. That's the normal practice. But ultimately, according to a letter sent to members of parliament by the chairman of the election commission, it revealed that the necessity of introducing or amending laws in parliament necessary to hold provincial council. The corruption at the last minute of this present government, especially cultural triangular fund, the 25% of the sales proceeds of tickets to foreigners goes to this particular fund. But unfortunately, for last many months, not a single cent sent to that particular fund. And apart from that, over 1 billion rupees within last few months been withdrawn from the fund for the propaganda machinery of the UNP candidate or so-called candidate or self-introduced candidate. This particular fund, there's a procedure, then the Prime Minister is the chairman of that particular fund. So the Prime Minister is responsible for withdrawing funds without following the proper procedure. So then we seek some clarification or explanation from Honorable Prime Minister regarding this matter. The UNP, now within their own camp, you find two factions to select the candidate that they are favoring. And definitely we are going to win this election with the support of all the communities and all the sections of the society. We have nominated our candidate without any dispute within the camp or within the party.
After much deliberation on the subject, cabinet approval has been given to amend the Muslim Marriage and Divorce Act. Accordingly, several key proposals, including the consent of women for marriage, will be amended before presenting to Parliament.
Sri Lanka's Muslim ministers and parliamentarians held discussions recently to reach an agreement on amending certain sections of the Muslim Marriage and Divorce Act. Their proposal contains 11 amendments to the Act, including the legal age for a Muslim marriage must be 18 years for both men and women, bride's signature made mandatory during marriage registration, and obtaining prior consent of the woman for the marriage a must. Accordingly, during the meeting of Cabinet of Ministers yesterday, the proposal to amend the Muslim Marriage and Divorce Act has been approved. The proposal to bring in these amendments was presented to the Cabinet by Minister of Muslim Religious Affairs Abdul Halim and Minister of Justice and Prison Reforms Thalatha Atukurala.
විවාහ කිසිමේදී වයස සම්බන්ධව ප්‍රශ්න තිබුණා. වයස අපි සීමා කරා 18. හැබැයි සමහර අය වයස අඩු අය කසාදි බැරිනවා නම් ඒක කාදිතුමාගෙන් අනුමැතිය ලබා තමයි කළ යුත්තේ. ඒත් එක්කම විශේෂයෙන්ම කාන්තා කාදිලා පත් කරන ඉල්ලීම් තිබුණා. මේ සම්බන්ධව ආගමික නායකරුන්ගේ කිසිම කැමැත්තක් නැහැ. අපි බොහෝ දුරට එයාගේ කැමැත්ත ලබා ගන්න උත්සාහ දෙන නමුත් අපි අසාර්ථක වුණා. ඒ නිසා කාන්තාවන් කාදින් හැටියට පත් කිරීම ඒ පනතේ සඳහන් වෙලා නැහැ. ඒත් එක්කම විශේෂයෙන්ම කාන්තාවක් විවාහ ගියොත් එමෙදී පසුගිය කාලේ නම් තමන්ගේ දෙමව්පියන්ගේ කැමැත්ත අනුව තමයි ඒක සිදු වුණේ. නමුත් අපි ඒකේ පොඩි සංශෝධනයක් ඇති කරා. ඒ විවාහ ගිවිසුමට එන කාන්තාවකින් කැමැත්තත් ලබා ගත යුතුයි කියලා.
The term of the Parliamentary Select Committee probing Easter Sunday attacks has been extended until the 30th of September. Parliament granted the committee an extension to present its final report in terms of Standing Order 102. The Parliamentary Select Committee was appointed by a resolution passed on the 22nd of May to look into and report to the House on the Easter Sunday terror attacks. The panel has recorded testimonies from various state officials, including Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe, Inspector General of Police Pooji Jayasundara, former Defence Secretary Hemasiri Fernando, State Intelligence Service Chief Senior DIG Nilantha Jawadana, outgoing Army Commander Lieutenant General Mahesh Senanayaka, Attorney General Dappala De Oliveira, and Central Bank Governor Dr. Indrajit Kumaraswamy. Meanwhile, the Colombo Fort Magistrate today ordered the Criminal Investigation Department to obtain statements from 5 prison inmates over the alleged assassination plot of President Maithripala Sirisena. The direction was given when the CID informed courts that intelligence reports reveal that 4 detainees of the Valikada prison sentenced to death, as well as another detainee sentenced to death in Angunukola Palassa prison, allegedly plotted the assassination of President Sirisena. Accordingly, Colombo Fort Chief Magistrate Lanka Jayaratne directed prison superintendent to allow 6 CID officials to take statements from the inmates within the period from August 26th to September 12th. UMP parliamentarian Field Marshal Sarath Fonseca is in the view that the leader of their party, Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe, has the opportunity to be the presidential candidate according to the party constitution. He expressed these views to media in Paliagoda today.
මම කිව්වේ පොදුජන පෙරමුණ තීරණයක් ගත්ත රටේ ආරක්ෂාව ආරක්ෂා කිරීමට පුළුවන් කෙනෙක් ජනාධිපතිවරණයට ඉදිරිපත් කරන්න ඕනේ කියලා. ඒ ප්‍රතිපත්තිය මම අගය කරන ඒ ප්‍රතිපත්තිය හරිය කියන එකේ මම ඉන්නවා. එක්සත් ජාතික පක්ෂයත් පුරුදු වෙන්න ඕනේ ඒ වගේ තීරණ ගන්න.
රනිල් වික්‍රමසිංහ මහතා හා නියෝජ්‍ය නායක සජිත් ප්‍රේමදාස මහතා අතර තිබෙන ගැටලුව සමතයකටපත් වෙලා නැහැ නේද? ව්‍යවස්ථානුකූලව නායකයාට සම්පූර්ණ අයිතිය තියෙනවා ජනාධිපති අපේක්ෂකයා වෙන්න. ඒක හන්ද අපි ඒක අනුමත කරන්නේ නැහැ. සජිත් ප්‍රේමදාස මහතා පක්ෂයෙන් ඉවත් වෙලා වෙනම පක්ෂයකට යන්නද මේ හදන්නේ? බදුල්ල රැස්වීමේදී කතා කරපු කැබිනට් ඇමතිවරයෙක් කිව්වා ඒගොල්ලෝ හදනවා කියලා කොළ පාටයි නිල් පාටයි එකතු කරලා ආණ්ඩුවක්. ඉතින් ඒක හන්දා එතන අපි නැහැ. තවත් ලැජ්ජා තියෙන කෙනෙක් නම් එක්සත් ජාතික පක්ෂයේ ඉන්න ආපහු නිල් පාටත් එක්ක ආණ්ඩුව හදන්න යන්නේ.
We will now go into a short commercial break, but make sure you stay tuned for more news right after that. Welcome back to the news. Issuing the sector review for the month of June this year, the central bank revealed that Sri Lanka's external sector strengthened further in June 2019 with a marked contraction in the trade deficit as imports declined and exports decreased. In June this year, the trade deficit narrowed to US $316 million, the lowest since the month of October in 2010.
The considerable reduction in the trade deficit in June 2019 was attributed to a notable decline in year-on-year import expenditure by 23.1% and an increase of export earnings by 5.8%. Earnings from merchandise exports grew by 5.8% in June 2019 to $1.84 billion compared to $1.24 billion in June last year, owing to an increase mainly in industrial exports, while earnings from agricultural exports decreased. The growth in exports was driven by the improved performance in textiles and garments and rubber product exports and transport equipment. Meanwhile, expenditure on imports declined for the 8th consecutive month by 23.1% to $1.4 billion from $1.82 billion a year ago. Gradually recovering from the impact of the Easter Sunday attacks, earnings from tourism increased by 66.8% in June this year in comparison to the month of May 2019. However, earnings from tourism declined on a year-on-year basis by 57% in June 2019, with workers' remittances at $537 million in June. Foreign investments in the government securities market recorded on a net outflow of $5 million in June 2019. On a cumulative basis, net outflows in the government securities market amounted to $96 million during the first half of the year. With the proceeds of the issuance of the international sovereign bonds, gross official reserves increased to $8.9 billion at end June 2019, which was equivalent to 5.2 months of imports.
Nationwide inflation edged up to 2.2% in July after slowing down in the 2 previous months. Central Bank said the National Consumer Price Index compiled by the Census and Statistics Department had risen to 2.1% in June, the lowest in 5 months, down from 3.5% in May. A statement said the marginal rise in the National Consumer Price Index in July was owing to the monthly increases of prices of items in both food and non-food categories. The NCPI increased by 0.2% in July 2019. Core inflation remained unchanged at 6.1% during the month-on-month, year-on-year basis. However, annual average core inflation increased to 4.7% in July 2019 from 4.4% in June 2019. The Osha Price Index closed 0.1% weaker at 5,907.74 with improved trading volumes today. The index posted a loss of 0.82% last week, which is its first weekly decline in 8 weeks. Market turnover was 671.6 million rupees. Let's now take a look at the stock market report.
In the bond market, prior to the bill auction, there was buying interest, resulting some maturities reaching intraday's lows. However, after the bill auction outcome, where 1-year bill was seen further increasing by 14 bips to 8.31% from 8.17, market witnessed selling interest, resulting in increasing yield. In the stock market, concluded the day on a negative note. Turnover level improved compared to yesterday. A net foreign inflow was witnessed amidst moderate foreign participation for the second consecutive day.
Meanwhile, Sri Lankan rupee ended 0.4% weak at 178 rupees and 75 cents to 179 rupees against the US dollar, compared with yesterday's close of 178 rupees. Let's now take a look at how the Sri Lankan rupee traded against other currencies during the day. Some news from overseas right after this commercial break, so make sure you stay tuned. On international news, US President Donald Trump has cancelled a state visit to Denmark after the nation's Prime Minister said Greenland was not for sale to the United States. Trump was scheduled to visit on 2nd of September at the invitation of Denmark's Queen Margaret II. Then last week, the US President suggested the US was interested in buying Greenland, an autonomous Danish territory. Danish Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen described the suggestion as absurd and said she hoped Trump was not being serious. Frederiksen is due to give a statement on the matter later. Migrant families who cross the southern border of the US illegally could be detained indefinitely under new regulation announced by the Trump administration. It replaces an agreement that set a limit on how long the government could hold migrant children in custody. The move was announced by Acting Homeland Security Secretary Kevin McClellan and is due to come into effect in 60 days. The move, however, is expected to face legal challenges. Homeland Security officials believe that the limit on the detention of migrant families has driven the surge of Central American families crossing the border into the US this year. They argue that the new regulation will counter the belief that bringing children into the US is a passport to being freed from detention after a short period. A 2015 legal ruling on this issue specified that children should be held for no more than 20 days. Under the new rules, the government could send families caught crossing the border illegally to family residential centers for the duration of their immigration cases. On other international news, China has threatened to impose sanctions on US firms involved with the sale of F-16 fighter planes to Taiwan if Washington goes ahead with the deal. The Chinese Foreign Ministry urged the United States to stop the arms sale and end military contact with Taiwan. The US government has approved a possible $8 billion deal involving 66 aircraft, the biggest in decades. The potential sale comes amid ongoing tensions between Washington and Beijing, notably over trade. China regards Taiwan as part of its territory, which should be reunited with the mainland. It has regularly criticized US arms deal with Taiwan, including the current one, which has been widely discussed. The second test between Sri Lanka and New Zealand is scheduled to begin tomorrow at the Pisara Oval in Colombo. This is the second match Sri Lanka will play in the ICC World Test Championship campaign. The Sri Lanka team won the first match of the series against New Zealand and leads the point table of the ICC World Test Championship campaign, which includes 9 teams. It was about a star-studded warm-up to the US Open as you could hope for. Women's tennis star including Serena Williams, Simona Halep and Madison Keys took part in an event promoting young female athletes yesterday. Located in Manhattan's West Village, a tennis court was adorned with message, "Queens of the future, sport changes everything." A total of 11 women professionals joined dozens of young women to participate in rounds of Queen of the Court. The groups were organized by local community groups. For the professionals, the event also served as a light moment in New York before the actual US Open kicks off on Monday. And with that, we conclude this edition of First at 9. Thank you for joining us and have a pleasant evening.